Welcome to Promo Insiders, the ASI Media podcast that covers the issues that matter most to the promotional products industry. I'm Teresa Hagel, Executive Editor of Digital Content, and today I'm joined by Precious Williams, a 13-time National Elevator Pitch Champion, trainer, TEDx speaker, and best-selling author. Precious will be the keynote speaker at the ASI Chicago show, which runs from July 25th to 27th. So thanks for joining us today, Precious.
I'm so happy to be here. As you can tell, I'm coming with that energy.
I love it. So can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you became the pitch queen?
Yes. So, in order for me to become the pitch queen, I had to actually create award-winning pitches. I'm a 13-time national elevator pitch champion who really teaches and trains on where does the money reside? Where the money resides. It's in creating a killer pitch that pays and slays. And so, when most people think about pitching, they're just thinking, oh, just say a few words. Hopefully, people will buy or they won't. But I'm going to teach you how to bait, attract, and close with ease. I am a former attorney in the great state of New York, where I still live. And with my first company, no one would invest because they didn't think I looked, sounded, or acted the part. And I had to prove them wrong. So by being a creative outsider, I actually pitched to the producers of MSNBC at an event, not thinking anything of it, had never said a pitch before in my life. And they loved it. Put me on Your Business with JJ Ramberg, February 9th, 2012, with my company Curvy Girls Lingerie, the ultimate shopping experience for full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. And in 54 seconds, I walked away with $500,000. And that was the beginning of my journey. I was told to enter pitch competitions, and out of 14 tries, became a 13-time national champion. And then people started wanting to pay me to teach them how to pitch the way that I do, because it didn't sound like who you are, what you do, who you serve. Like, it sounded so different. And that is the journey to becoming the killer pitch master, aka the pitch queen, Precious Williams.
So why is it so important for people to perfect their pitching skills?
Well, it's important for everyone to perfect their pitching skills, because you're going to always be in front of others, and they're going to want to know about you. If you're an entrepreneur, your business, your brands, your books, your products or services, you need to have a sales pitch. And even for our young people, how do they present themselves in a way that makes them the only choice that matters in interviews, when they're filling out college applications or personal statements? Everything that you do now, especially from social media to when you meet someone in real life, to when someone is reading about you, has to be congruent. And you want to talk about yourself, and you want others to talk about you in a way that you don't sound average, random, or ordinary. You really are creating a niche, dominating it with your pitch.
So you don't have to be just a salesperson for this. This is for everybody. Like, this could just be
This is
your
truly for
life.
everyone. This is truly, yes, it's truly for everyone. And that is why I teach at Harvard, Harvard University, Columbia University, George Washington University, historically Black institutions. And I don't have an Ivy League degree. But do you know why those kind of schools book me, or why my clients include LinkedIn, Google, Microsoft, Federal Reserve Bank? And just so we're clear, I'm Black on both sides. No Brazilian butt lift, no six pack abs. And yet I've been on television shows and movies and documentaries all over the world. I'm still Black. And some people look at it as a perceived flaw. Used to look at my weight as something that will hold me back. I said, but you've never seen me coming. You're so used to certain people, you've never met me before. And so now let me blow you away. When you understand your zone of genius, and usually that comes from someone being able to share with you things they see in you, you'll blow other people away, because you're no longer afraid of your past. You're no longer afraid of mistakes, because everyone who's ever made it to the top, and I mean everyone, has something they've had to overcome. I didn't understand I was a killer pitch master until I did my first pitch, or when I won my last pitch competition 10 years ago. That there was something about the way I moved, something about the way I spoke, something about the way I made investors or lay audiences or full figure divas feel, that has translated all over the world. Everyone needs this, from your young people to your teenagers to your young adults to your women of a certain age, men of a certain age, to your senior citizens. You have value. But if you can't articulate it, somebody else will say things about you that are untrue.
That's a great point. So what are a few elements of a great sales pitch?
Some of the elements of a great sales pitch. Number one, you have to start off with a question, a startling statistic, or a quote? You see, most of us start off with our name and the name of our companies. Nobody cares. You have to give them a reason to care. So if I walked in a place, I'm like, ladies, raise your hands if you want to be a bad bee with a power pitch. That was a curse word. And they're clutching pearls, raising their hands. Men are raising their hands like, fellas, I didn't forget about you. Fellas, raise your hands if you want to be a bad man with a master pitching play. Now they're like, oh, wow. What you've done is you've interrupted the pattern of boring. Now they're not looking at their cell phones. They're not like, oh, I've heard the same bitches. Now they're looking at all eyes on you, like Tupac. Number two, you should have 150 reasons why somebody should hire you, book you, refer you, or purchase something from you. You can do the first 10 or 15 on your own, but you need to start asking your trusted network, not family, not friends, are going to tell you all these things and never buy anything from you. Can we keep it real? You need others to tell you what they see in you and your products, your services, because that's going to overcome the objections that usually come. Yeah. You're going to have so many different reasons. So you need to have 150 reasons. Number three, answer the most important question. Why you? Out of a sea of everybody else, why you? Why should they choose you? Why are you the only choice that matters? I don't care if you only have 30 seconds, 15 seconds, a minute and a half, or 3 minutes. That should be ever present in your mind. As you're standing here in front of all of these people who are all trying to pitch themselves, you have to start off with a bang and end with fireworks. Number four, we all know you need a call to action. What do you want people to do after they listen to you? Be very specific. Be very specific about what you want them to do. Do you want them to try out a sample? Do you want them to go to your website? Is there a particular page on your website? Do you want them to check out the testimonials? When you're clear, it will really help others. So when people hear killer pitchmaster, they automatically think Precious Williams. They don't even say Williams. They like Precious. I say Precious, killer pitchmaster. Yeah, that's me. Do you see how interesting that is? No matter where I am in the world, they know. Finally, use your perceived flaws as your secret weapon. We all know I'm a 44-year-old Black woman from the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. It was not promised to me that I'd live in New York City and have 3 billboards in Times Square, 5-time #1 bestselling author, top Fortune 500 corporate sales trainer. By every estimation, I'm too old, too chocolate, my weight, like all these things. And my job, I'm not 327 pounds like I used to be. But everything they said was wrong with me was actually what was right with me. And to see if everyone else, I truly stand out. So when you take a stage or when people are on your website, you have to show up and show out. You are so used to seeing certain people in certain positions. When someone else stands out and you don't, how did they get here? Do know age, race, class, sex, sexual orientation, differently able, disabled. They call those your perceived flaws. Those aren't flaws. They're truly your secret weapon because no one ever sees you coming. So you better rock it with the ultimate confidence, and you don't have to fake it. Faith it till you make it. Most of us are 10 or 12 years into being an overnight success, but we stayed persistent and consistent, which what beats all resistance.
Nice. So I think we've talked about this a little bit, or at least touched on it, but especially when you say like don't start with like the boring stuff. But what are some of the other well, what are some other big mistakes people tend to make when it comes to pitching?
Some of the biggest mistakes is they're really just boring. Their pitches are generic. So they're afraid. So people are afraid to speak to their target audience. They might go into a room and their target audience isn't there, but the people in the room are attached to those target audiences. Think about when I was on Shark Tank talking about Curvy Girls lingerie, the ultimate shopping experience for full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. Have you seen who's on Shark Tank? The sharks on Shark Tank? Name me a full-figure diva. Who's a shark?
I don't think there are any.
But do you know what changed that? When I knew there are over 40 million women size 14 and larger in the United States, just like me, and we all want pretty underwear. That's a lot of women. And it's not the fact you didn't have the money. It's the fact no one saw you as valuable. So I had to educate, but also show up in numbers. The population of women is getting bigger in terms of their weight and sizes. It doesn't mean that they can't be beautiful. You're thinking plus size women. Nobody cares about plus size women. So you change your language, you change the sales game. So when I say full figure divas and plus size fashionistas, what? Which means that to show up is show out. Blonde ambition. How do you show up? How do you want others to perceive you? If you want people to take you seriously, show up and show out. So I never show up in black and just blue. I'm a
Mhm.
former attorney. That's what I had to wear, those suits. But when you see me in real life, I'm colorful and bright. And I embrace being a full figure diva because I changed the language on plus size women. No one cares. But full figure diva, you're like, ooh, I like that. I'm like, baby, I came before Lizzo. I came before Ashley Graham on the cover of Sports Illustrated. There was Precious Williams, the killer pitch master, aka the pitch queen, aka the ultimate rainmaker. And finally, a lot of people don't believe in themselves, and it truly comes out in their pitch. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you've been in networking events. I know you've been in conferences, and people are all throwing their business card. I don't want your business card because ain't nothing you said relevant to me. You are just going through the motions. And I challenge you, if they're going to talk about you, give them something to talk
So, do you think that anyone can learn to be good at pitching or great at pitching? I mean, or is it something that you have to kind of be born with?
about. No, I think you can learn it. Because if we're being honest, queen to queen, I've been holding this personality back for so long because it didn't fit into corporate America. I was told to be the worker bee. I was told to get that work done. But you know what? That put me in a very difficult position because the God's honest truth is I wasn't seen as an asset. The ability to write your own paycheck, the ability to make sales, the ability to have a steady Rolodex of clients and customers, that doesn't just happen. You have to create it. And so for me, the ability to sell, the ability to bait, attract, and close is something you can be taught, infusing it with your personality. The number one question I'm always asked, well, Precious, I don't have your personality. I have to remind people when I started it, no one did. And they didn't like me. My fellow contestants didn't like me. Yet I kept winning because I had to go against the grain of what they thought I should do. So when you talk about basic pitching, who your name, who you are, what you do, who you serve, target market, target market and your call to action, you need to have that. That's the basics. How you arrange it. How do you add that extra funk and fire to slay all competition? That was my secret sauce. I can hear what's said and what's not said. And when I go into a room, it's the energy that usually dictates how I come in. So if you're clued into sales, you will understand that you can't be generic. You can have certain things that you're always going to say, but it has to match who you're speaking to. You have to ask certain questions. You have to start off a certain way with different audiences, and every pitch can never be the same because you're in front of different people. When I started Queen, I was helping women win pitch competitions. How did I ever think I could be in the biggest companies in the world and not be in their ERGs, their employee resource groups? I'm training their sales teams that is not limited to women or what is perceived as minorities or anything like that. When you're world class, you have to be treated like world class and not allow people to box you in. And so when you think of ASI, you think of what you all are putting together, you have so many different types of speakers because sales is not a monolith that you have to look, sound, and act a certain way. Some of us attract different audiences. And as I've grown as a speaker, a teacher, and a trainer, the only ways I can get into the biggest companies or Ivy League institutions, top HBCUs, talk to our young people who are middle school is because I'm adaptable, because I've had to be. There's nothing generic about me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
these are the things that you can, these are the things that help you with promotional products, sales, marketing, and branding. And if you look at me on social media, you'll see why you see the biggest companies in the world. You'll see why you see financial services, tech companies, high schools, middle schools, and all of these, because I've cracked the code on you being
Nice.
the best you. If you're an introvert, be the quiet storm. If you're an extrovert like me, turn it up. Turn it up and make them never look away.
So one of the things I think is really interesting, you're going to be doing a pitch competition at ASI Chicago. Um, so can you give us maybe a preview of what that might look like, or what can people do to prepare so that they can maybe become the next, pitch master?
Okay, so when it comes to pitch competitions, what I really want you all to focus on is knowing your time limits, knowing your time limits, knowing who you're going to be in front of, the audience you're going to be in front of. What is the goal of winning that pitch competition? Is it maybe the money on the line? Is it maybe the services? Is it being in front of people who can totally take your business to the next level? So to be very clear on who you're pitching to and why. And also don't forget your stage presence. I want you to walk out there. If you're the quiet storm, you still got to bring all eyes on you. Make sure that you use inflections in your voice. In the entire time that we've been speaking, my voice has never been the same. That might be because I've been doing this for years, but understand what your goal is. Is it just to win the competition? Is to get the relevant resources in the room? Is it to get your next clientele and customers? But you want to make an impression and you want to be the only choice that matters. So find your north. Find your north. When I hit the stage, no matter what, I want to be better than any speaker you've ever heard. My name doesn't have to be Tony Robbins or Mel Robbins or Brene Brown or Sarah Bakley or Lisa Nichols or Les Brown. If I think I'm the best in the world, I'm going to show it at all times. Your job is to make an impression. Your job is to be the only choice that matters. Your job is to connect with the audience and show them something they've never heard of in the way you're going to do it. So you have to stand up and stand out and show out.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that you want to add that we didn't really cover yet? I mean, I feel like you could probably talk for hours if you wanted to, but what's like one final takeaway for people?
Fortune favors the bold. So I speak all over the world, Queen. I just got back from Canada. I'm in New York, so the wildfires have made the air quality off. So my voice doesn't sound the same right now. However, that's not going to stop me, and it should never stop you. There are things that are going to go wrong on stage. Maybe there's not a podium, and you're expecting a podium. Maybe the microphone goes out. You prepare for all of those things, and the more you do it, the stronger you will get. I've been speaking professionally since I was 16. I'm 44. Is that 28 years? What? What? So I've had everything go wrong. I've had a mic go out. I've had the mic I'm holding go out. I've had the mic go out. I've had to do amazing things out of nothing. But I should, because I've been battle tested and battle approved. So you can expect things to go wrong. Don't you show jitters. Don't you, count yourself out. I want you to believe when no one else does. And I posted recently on social media, when no one believes in you, when the world is against you, when you're scared and you're afraid, do it anyway. When you step into your purpose, another woman or man can step into theirs. So as a trailblazer, you're going to go through the hard times to make it easier for someone else. But even as it's happening, the more you stand in your power and you don't let that get to you, you're going to open doors for so many other people. We got young people coming behind us that have only known social media tells them 6 figures in 6 days. Not true. Some of us are 30 years into being an overnight success. You just keep going and remember persistence And being consistent always beats resistance.
Awesome.
Keep going. And don't forget, do it with love. Fortune favors the bold, so boldly go into your next. Find your north and go all in. They're waiting for you. Your ancestors are waiting for you to do everything they wish they could have done. So you
Okay.
take that stage and kill it.
All right. Thank you so much, Precious. This was awesome. I'm excited to see you in Chicago, I guess, next month.
Yes! Shot Town, y'all ready? Shot Town, y'all ready? ASI, y'all ready? Come through. Get ready. The energy's coming. The talent is coming and the skill set is coming.
All
Thank you for
right.
having me.
Yes, thank you so much.